and I'm very, very much pleased to have an expert in ceramic from the National Museum, Hungarian Museum in Budapest, Hungary, Anna Ridovics. She talks about the material culture of Haban ceramics from Hungarian collection. So Anna Ridovics, she is an art historian, a researcher, and a chief curator of decorative arts at the Hungarian National Museum. We're so pleased to have you here and to dive into the ceramic world.
Vážení dámy, vážení páni, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear Hutterite friends, I'm very happy to be here. And I changed a bit the name, the title of my presentation, Material Culture, two main types of the Hutterite-Haban ceramics from Hungarian collections and excavations. So sorry, I won't speak about the fake things and about the making technology, but after my presentation, we can discuss everything what you are, and if I can answer it. So let's go. So the main two types are what the Hutterites prepared from themselves. It was very different what they prepared, luxury products for the customers. And I would like to introduce these two main types for you and some history of ceramic making during these periods. Okay, but first I have to tell you that we began our research project 16 years ago. We had a research grant and several museums and institutes worked together, different persons, I mean, ethnographers, art historians, archaeologists, conservators, and natural scientists as well. And let's to see, I hope we will see what happens.
Maybe you have to click. I don't know what.
Okay. Okay. Oh no. Sorry, unfortunately, my technological knowledge is not on the high, but first, high level. First, I would like to introduce you a very similar map what Mr. Other wonderful colleague explained it. How was the way of Hutterite, how they migrated from southern German Anabaptist, from Austria, from Italy, from Switzerland to Moravia in 16th century. In the first part of 16th century, Moravia was the promised land, and really they had a golden age in Moravia until the defeat at White Mountain, when in 1622 they had to went out from Moravia. And then just in the middle of 16th century, they arrived to Hungarian kingdom. And later they went further to Transylvania and Ukraine, and also at the end they arrived into North America. There are two different ideas how many persons were in Moravia. Were then 10,000 Hutterites or 20,000 Hutterites? But what we know from the presentation of John, nowadays in North America, there are 60,000 Hutterites. So it is a very strong and long-living good branch. So I have to tell you some words about the Hutterite courts, where they were ceramic centers. 16 ceramic centers are known from the sources, and also from the archaeological excavations in Herschmann Landsfeld and Dr. Jiří Pajer. Unfortunately, 6 centers were not excavated. We know only it from the sources. Pottery making was begin from 1569, 1570s, as we know it from the Great Chronicle. Tejkovic was the oldest place where they prepared ceramics, and it was the first place where they prepared thin glaze ceramics. It is a very different technology from the lead glaze ceramics. And we also visited 2 days ago the most significant place, Vacenovice, that is mentioned also in the chronic in 1571. It was very famous about high quality pieces and about high capacity firing kiln. It was 6.5 meter long kiln. It was an enormously huge one, and from one firing could fire 1,000 pieces. So it's fantastic, and they was on the highest level. Another important place that I have to mention, Tracht, Stahotin. It was an educational center, and it was a very productive center. On the lower part, you can see a typical German type of jug with a round belly. It is the earliest known dated piece, 1593. So you can understand that the first masters who arrived into Moravia usually were German-speaking German masters who knew this new technology, thin glaze technology, and the owners, the customers ordered new type, the fashionable Italian type of ceramics, so-called Bianchi di Faenza and Stile Campandario. One piece I can show you, because this piece is from our museum. It is saved in the Hungarian National Museum, and according to the opinion of Mr. Pajer, it was prepared in Vacenovice. Vacenovice was famous about the so-called perforated places. This is an Italian type, Tazza type, and they had 13, 14 type of motifs with these perforated types. Here you can see the mold for the ceramic from the excavation of Mr. Pajer. So, what we can say for you about the Hungarian kingdom and Transylvanian Principality when the Anabaptists, the Hutterites, arrived there. First, in the middle of 16th century, the first Hutterites arrived in the northern Hungary and western Hungary. The next huge amount of persons, huge amount of Hutterites arrived after the defeat of at the White Mountain. They went to north and the western part of Hungary, and Prince Gábor Bethlen invited them to Transylvania to develop the industry in Transylvania with their very high knowledge. And the last piece what I would like to show you, when György Rákóczi I, he was also Prince of Transylvania from 1630, but his own land he has in Upper Hungary, in Sárospatak, and he invited or settled Hutterites in Sárospatak in 1645. It was called Curia Anabaptistarium. But now I would like to show you two very nice, nicely dressed Hutterites from Alvins, from 17th century Transylvanian costume codex. This is in British Library, London. And very funny, what you can read under the man. An Anabaptist who do nothing but make earthenware. So Anabaptists were very Hutterites, very famous about the knowledge how to make earthenware. Yes, and here on the lower part, you can see how was it? It is the Moravian period. There was a highest number of Hutterites in this region, and then they arrived in the middle of 16th century to the Hungarian kingdom, and when Gabor-Betlen invited them, they were in Transylvania, but at the end of 18th century, they had to change their religion, or they had to leave. So what can I say, how many Hutterite settlements, groups were before 1622 in Hungarian kingdom? Here you can see Hungarian kingdom. This is this part where now we are. This is now Slovakia. And here were the most, a lot of these are all Hutterite settlements in this region where now we are. After 1622, in Hungarian kingdom, and this is the Hungarian kingdom, the middle of nowadays Hungary was under the Ottoman Empire. It was a Turkish territory. So here is the Hungarian kingdom. And here is the Transylvanian Principality. Not at the same time, but during the 17th century, around 49 or 40 Hutterite groups or settlements were in these territories, not at the same time, but probably. And now I have to say some words about the Hutterite settlement types. And just before we were in Landshut, we are in Velke, Levare, and we also was together in Cherbakovice-Alinkov. All these settlements were settled near a river, like Cherbakovice-Alinkov, near river Rokitna, Sarospatak. Here is only nowadays place where the Hutterites rose, near Bodrog, and there is also Alvins in Transylvania at this part. So they settled near the river, and the mill was built also near the river. The mill was the heart of a community of the Hutterite settlement, because they could feed the people with the bread, and also they could feed the soul with the bread. So it was very important place for the Hutterites. Oh my God. I don't know why it doesn't work. Yeah, thank you so much. So now I would like to introduce you Sarospatak, Potok. It was also mentioned in the Great Chronicle. According to a donation letter dated in 1647, they received 4 houses and 4 connected peasant plots. In 1657 census, 50 working men practiced 34 different artisan trades. Hutterites was very talented in very much crafts. Not only ceramics, they were very good knife makers, they did very good agricultural men, wine making, as we know from Habansky Sklepi also. And here you can see also a potter. There was a potter between the Sarospatak Curia Anabaptistarium members, one potter with 4 apprentices. The head of the Haban settlement was György Stilmar, and the preacher was Jakab Lisbuher. what they use for themselves. It is quite not so well known that they didn't prepare only thin glazed wonderful pieces. They prepared for themselves lead glazed simple pieces after the Hafnerordnung in 1612, because that time it was prohibited to make for themselves thin glazed pieces. And it is not so easy to identify. First time identified Dr. Payer in Moravian settlements, what they used, what Hutterite used for themselves. These black lead glazed pieces. Different is the form. If you see this plate, it is a cooking pot, and different is the jug's form. And this is a wonderful chamber pot that very nicely decorated. The decoration is also different because it is a so-called Malhorn decoration, Malhorn painting. So it is not the brushwork what we can see on the other pieces. And what is interesting also at this, it is a so huge one. And there is a monogram on the chamber pot. Maybe every person had his own chamber pot, I don't know, but it is really interesting. So, and they also prepared different kind of stove ties, more decorated, less decorated. They prepared these pieces for themselves, and they prepared it also for the customers. This type of the perforated neck, the type of jar, it's typical for the Hungarian and Transylvanian Hutterite ceramics because it was not prepared in Moravia. It was very typical, it was prepared in Sárospatak, and also I think Carla Roska will tomorrow show you it was prepared in Alvins as well. But they also prepared thin glaze pieces. Lead glaze piece and thin glaze piece is very different from technological point of view. So to make a thin glaze piece needs a special knowledge and also need a special kiln. It is impossible to fire at a lower temperature. So you see that there were found some fragments, and from the fragments they were reconstructed how they could look like. And also, not only in Vacenovice, but also in Sárospatak, they prepared perforated plates, which needs also a very high knowledge. Here I also show you pieces from the excavation of Dr. Payer. This is from the Museum of Decorative Art in Budapest, a full piece, and it was found, this small part of the mold, at the excavated territory in Sárospatak. They prepared simple stove ties, and they prepared very elegant, very exclusive luxury pieces for the noble for the noble castles, like or the bishop's palace in Eger. It was found in the last years, and this is a reconstruction, but more than 163 fragments were found, and it is really beautiful, and it is a special type of stove ties. What is, I would like to say about some interesting things, about some specialty what we didn't know earlier. It became clear that Haban ceramics were used in the Reformed Church as a sacral vessels. They were used at Lord's Supper, and they were used at baptizing. It was very surprising. We didn't know about it earlier, but it became clear that especially in the region of Sárospatak and in the here in this part of Slovakia, in the east north part of Hungary, there were several places they used in Reformed Church and in evangelical churches as Lord's Supper wine taking jar. You can see the symbol of pelican, the symbol of Jesus Christ, and also a Lord's Supper plate from Szent Király szabadja. It was a surprise, to tell the truth. Oh my God, sorry. There are several sources from the visiting list, church visiting list. The first piece was identified in 1665. So in 1665, a church used a Haban piece during the Lord's Supper. And we know the written sources, and also we know from the ecclesiastical collections some original pieces what were used in the church. Here you can see these beautiful pieces from the end of 16th century, from the beginning of 17th century. This is from our museum. This is from our museum, and this is this piece from Dunapatai. It was a colony on Váltság of Bishop János Patai Baracsi from 1690. So these are, I can say, these are new results. And last but not least, I would like to introduce you a very special type, a so-called tricky beaker. It was excavated at Buda Palace from the layer before 1685. What is it? Everybody is surprised. A piece in the Museum of Skalica had identified these fragments, and I have to say a great thank you from here to the museum members, to Martin Hoferka and her colleague. Oh my God. Yes. So this is what kind of pieces, and also another type is from Košice, from Kassa, and it is also dated from 1780, and there is also the name of the masters, Johannes Kitta and Michal Martinkovits. What is such kind of beaker? It has this is the cup. Here are the spots. One spot is go to the cup, and the other spot go to the lower part. From here, it was possible to fill in the lower part, and but here was a very small place, and it couldn't go out from this part the second. So it was possible to drink from this cup, to drink two different beverages. So it was what was the function? It was we don't know, but maybe it was a kind of marriage ceremony or such kind of this. And this is a reconstruction of this goblet. There are very small number of this structure. One piece this is a lead gray tree goblet from Transylvania, from Alvins, and in this year I found a new one in the Zsolnai study collection in Pécs. I say here, thank you for your attention, but I don't want to finish, sorry. I would like to say some words further, because I would like to say that this type is, this tricky beaker, this type was developed in the 17th century redware and whiteware German ceramic history, and this type became well known in the Netherlands. How the Hutterite masters could see this type of the vessels. there were two delegations into Mannheim and into Amsterdam and Friesland. They sent delegations to the Mennonites to ask. First, they went to Mannheim to colonize Hutterite group in Mannheim in 1655, and 10 years later, they went to the Mennonites to ask them help. I will very interested in the opinion of Astrid. What is her opinion about this theory? That maybe during this visit they could see this special type of drinking vessel. And now I finish my presentation, but I would like to tell you some words, not on behalf of another person who is Tibor Schillinger. Tibor, please come here. Let me introduce you Tibor Schillinger. He has ancestors from Alvin's Hutterite settlement, Hutterite Bruderhof. He began to make a family tree research in 2014. Thank you. Sit down, and I will ask you to köszönöm szépen. Better to sit, because maybe I will speak too much, and later we can ask things. So he was interested where was born his grandfather. And he found that he was born in Alvins, and he wrote to Alvins. And from the archive, he got an answer. Oh, you are very lucky, because we found a lot of sources about the Schillinger family. Aaron Schillinger converted to Catholic in 1766 in Alvins. And also about the Schillinger family, there are more sources, more details. And when the descendants of the former Hutterites arrived to Alvins in 1937, they found also Schillinger family. There were three families: the Schillingers, the Kaisers, and Kurz. They were at the beginning of 20th century. They were also in Alvins. And I very honor the work of Tibor. He wrote a book about his family history, and he found how many members of the Schillinger family was born in Alvins. And please give applause for Tibor. Thank you very much for your attention.